Hey curl, hey, my name is Lorens Portalatin and I am a curly hairstylist. I am the owner of Dallas Curl Studio and I am here to make sure that you have the best knowledge, all the pro tips of all the brushes, products, and everything you could need to have a fabulous hair day, not only in salon, but also at home. Today I will be reviewing the Bounce Curl Define Edge Lift Brush and the Bounce Curl Volume Defining Bounce Curl Brush. I'm super excited. Lots of clients have been asking me about these brushes. I have now used them on not only myself, but several of my clients with all different hair types, and I really enjoyed the results. So first, I am going to start with a little comparison side by side of the actual brush itself. You can see that both of them come to a really fabulous point. It's a pretty nice hefty weight when it comes to the brush. The point itself is really nice whenever you're trying to section through the hair. If you are currently using a brush that maybe is like a wet brush or something that's maybe a little lighter, or maybe your kids are using, this might be a little too heavy for them. But if you are okay with lifting above your head or your shoulders, you don't have any shoulder issues, just keep in mind that it's a little bit heavier of a brush, which isn't a bad thing. But the point is really fabulous because that helps section the hair. Then you have this really nice handle, which I really enjoy because it fits to the shape of your hand, which is really nice. But then you notice that unlike a lot of brushes, you have these really fabulous like ridges on the side, and you can see the difference in the ridges. So the difference is how many ridges are per each brush. The top area is the same, but the sides are different. So really it just depends on what you're looking for in terms of your style. If you are one of my clients, you know that I love raking products through the hair, and sometimes I use fingers, sometimes I use a brush. It just depends on that curly, what they currently use, and what their lifestyle choice is. So when it comes to using a brush, I actually have really been enjoying this because it's kind of like a 2-in-1. Not only are you smoothing thanks to the bristles that are inside the brush, volume defining brush, and it's got way more smaller bristles inside of it than the actual defining brush. Do you see how you can see more of the separation in between the two brushes? I have really been enjoying that because when it comes to the defining edge lift brush, you want a smooth result. You want thick, chunky curl clumps, and that's where these thicker ridges really come into play. There's only so many, which is really nice. And you know, if you're one of my clients, if you want definition, you want juicy, thick clumps, you want to make sure you're really like spreading out your fingers and really getting through the hair and smoothing everything down. This brush has been really great for getting definition, whether you are wavy, curly. I haven't used it on any coilies yet, but I've been very pleased on all densities as well. And then this brush, you can tell that there's way more ridges, and this is for volume. So the reason that there are so many ridges on the edge of this brush is because that for volume, we want every single individual curl to stack up on top of one another, so you get this really nice, fluffy, voluminous result. When it comes to definition, you don't really need as much of that, so that's why you can have bigger sections. Here is the difference between the two brushes. You can really see how when it comes to the ridges, the definition brush is just going to give you some nice juicy clumped results. That's going to give you longevity and some beautiful definition. And then when it comes to this top layer, that's just going to give you curls that stack on top of each and one another.
For example, these are 3 clients that I recently used both of the brushes on. Starting at the left side, we were going for more definition with the wavy on the left. So I went with the Define Edge Lift brush. It was really great to show her how she can get some really nice thick curl clumps. The client in the center, she is a return client, and we usually go for more volume. So I went with the volume defining brush, and it was really lovely to see all the root lift that she ended up getting. And then the client on the right was a client who really enjoyed more defined curls, so we went with the definition brush. Each of these is a different curl type and texture, and I highly recommend experimenting in your salon or at home to see what works best for you. For these two curlies, they both have very high volume density hair, but both of them have different hair types. So density is the same, but curl type is different, porosity, texture, all that good stuff. The curly on the left wanted more volume, so I made sure to go in with the lighter styling products and the volume defining brush. And then the curly on the right wanted to minimize more volume and get definition, so we went with the defining edge lift brush. Both beautiful results, both totally different uses for each brush.
Okay, now you know how I like using it on clients. So far, it has been really fabulous. If you are someone who really loves brushes, I love a brush. If you really enjoy using different brushes on yourself, you do need to know that when it comes to using these brushes, the box itself from Bounce Curl does say that you have to detangle beforehand. So make sure that before you use these tools that you are detangling fully 100% before you go through and use them. Not gonna lie, I kind of tested that out and I didn't detangle like a little section. I had a little like clump left over. It did not feel good. So highly recommend going through with your detangling brush, with your wet brush, before you go through and style with these, because these are only styling brushes. If you have a question or comment about that, please drop it below. When it comes to these brushes, I ended up using the volume brush that has way more ridges up top, and baby, I love my volume. I love my hair really big, but I'm also a low maintenance, very efficient curly. So whenever I do my hair, I'm doing it once and it's lasting for 7 days. Sometimes if I'm really not feeling it, it lasts longer, anywhere from 10 to 12 days. So whenever I'm going for volume, I know that I'm styling for maybe up to 2-3 days. So the last brush I used was this one, and I'm currently on day, I want to say like 3 or 4. Like, she's pretty fuzzy. She's been airing out a little bit. But what I have really enjoyed from this brush that I don't get from other brushes is the fact that when you use these ridges, the actual clumps of curls are all curly, if that makes sense. I don't think that makes sense. Okay, so this is what I mean. So whenever I style for volume, I literally do what I like to call raccoon styling, and I section and I just throw products in there and I get my curl clumps as small as possible so my curls can stack on one another. But what I've noticed on myself and on clients is the fact that whenever I do that, my curls maybe aren't as curly as they could be. Like, I have cute little ringlets today. That doesn't always happen whenever I style for volume. But whenever I use this brush, in combination with the ridges and the actual like bristles that are like totally packed in there and smoothing everything down, I noticed that not only do I get some really beautiful curl clumpage, but I also get that stack that I'm looking for. So for example, do you see like these curls are all still beautifully curly? Yes, they're a little frizzy, but like, look at this. Like, I've got some ringlets, and I usually don't get that unless I style for definition, and I sit still, like really, really still whenever I'm diffusing. So take a look at that. Like, I usually have so many more tangles at this point whenever I volume style. This is already frizzy. I'm sure you can see that I'm already frizzy, but she's like kind of cute still. I don't mind it, but usually all of this has already gotten weird. Like, we're on our way there for sure. But honestly, I'm very impressed about the curl definition. I am going to do a better job in showing you on how the brush actually looks like on day 1, because I was pleasantly surprised whenever it came to this brush. I do need to touch up, like you can see frizz all over, but I have thoroughly enjoyed this volume defining brush. I think what I'm gonna do next time is maybe do a side-by-side of the defining brush on one side and then maybe the volume on the other. If you'd like to see that, let me know. But yeah, I have thoroughly enjoyed these brushes. I've had some beautiful results, not only on myself, but also with clients. It is a higher price range for a brush. I believe it is like anywhere from $25 to $30 per brush. But if you are someone who has a lot of hair and really like definition, you really want that lived in, like, You know, there's a lot of you curlies that love definition, but you also love big hair. This is it. This is the game changer. This brush is how you're gonna get it. The volume defining brush, that is the way that you're gonna get the best of both worlds. So if you have long hair, if you have thick hair, if you are a curly that loves longevity in their style and more definition, if you are a wavy or curly, getting pretty close to coily, then you will be a curly that thoroughly enjoys having these brushes. So far, I have thoroughly fallen in love with them. If you are one of my clients, or if you're just watching this and wanting to know about the brushes, or you have used them, let me know about your experience. I would absolutely love to hear about it, just because I love hearing all of the opinions of my curlies out there. But yeah, this is the Define Edge Lift brush with the thicker curl clumps. And then this is the volume defining brush. And you can tell, like, this one just has more of everything. The bristles, the actual like boar short bristles underneath, the ridges on the side. It's just fabulous. I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. I can't wait to show you more things that I do in and out of the salon with my curls, and I hope to see y'all soon.